This is Jeff Breedlove with the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse with the Neil Campbell report as we enter the last week before they convene the General Assembly on Monday, June the 15th. Neil, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule this week to be with us.
Thanks for putting it on my calendar, Jeff. I appreciate you.
I bet you.
I'll show up anywhere. If it's on my calendar, I just show up. As you know.
So, you know, y'all, we're laughing and joking, but it's a serious week in the history of recovery in the state of Georgia. But we've just come from a fantastic event. It's one of the first events that the council has had since COVID-19 began. It was a very successful vehicle rally for recovery down at the state capitol. And Neil, I'd like you to give the community your brief report from that event.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. It was a blast. You know, again, it's hard to get a group of people in recovery together and not have fun, even though it was a very serious issue. So we had about 30 cars. I think it was right at 30 cars. We had probably 60 to 70 people. There was a couple people in each car and then a couple of bus loads full. We had folks come from Jessup, from Wayne County, Georgia, way southeast. We commend them for coming. There's probably a dozen of them who showed up with a big bus and recovery positive language on the side of that. Had folks from Dublin. We had people from Warner Robins. We had people from right here in Atlanta, right around the corner. And it was just we rode around the Capitol 4 times and just honked our horns and celebrated recovery. And, you know, I saw one sign was from someone who said, "My daughter is grateful her mother's in recovery." And that's really what it's about. We have family members who get better, and we have to celebrate that. And that you cannot put a price tag on that kind of work and that kind of services that we do in these addiction recovery support centers.
Well, Neil, it's because of your leadership and the commitment of local leaders around the state that events like this come together. We had RCO leaders from all over the state, peers who are local leaders with our RCOs. What struck me about the event is this country has seen so much emotional turmoil, people doing a lot of soul searching. They see division on television, even if they're, you know, that's what they see on TV. But today, in downtown Atlanta, they saw the mosaic of Georgia. They saw urban, rural, suburban. They saw white, black, Asian, Hispanic. They saw all kinds of demographics come united in a positive message. Positively, nothing got damaged, nothing was done, you know, but a positive, uplifting message. And I think that's healthy for Georgia to see that people from diverse backgrounds can unite in a common cause.
Yeah, and they, you know, all we did was call them up and say, "Hey, can you show up here?" And they did. And this is a Tuesday. This is a Tuesday at noon. People are busy. You know, I think we could have had a bigger turnout if folks had the money to come, or a lot of people are still afraid, like you said, of the virus. And hey, let's just be honest, Atlanta's been a rough place to be at times. You know, not because of it's. I'm not saying it's any fault other than some. You know, we've had tear gas shot, we've had some pushing and shoving going on. So I'm glad to see that, today was really peaceful and people took a chance and came up and hung out in downtown Atlanta for a while. So it was awesome.
And let's take a moment and I spend a lot of time at the Capitol. Thank the Capitol Police for their professionalism towards us. They gave us no trouble, or we gave them no trouble. They were nothing. They were there. There was a presence. The Atlanta police were close by, and look, they were doing their job, and everybody left safely, and democracy happened today. It was a great event. I want to thank those people doing their job for their professionalism towards us today. We had at the Capitol come outside. They saw us. You know, I know a peer that has already been in touch with an elected official who knows we were there today. So, you know, I think we made our presence felt. So that's just one event. Really quickly, before we get into some of the other stuff, there's at least 3 more in-person events this week. There's going to be an event tomorrow at Coweta Forest at 1 o'clock with Senator Matt Brass with our great little event at 1 o'clock. It's not a little event, it's an important event.
Yeah, it's a big event.
Going to be, it is small in time. It's 1 to 1:30. But Then there's a rally, I hope, in Warner Robins on Thursday at 5:30. That will be a nice event, very important event. And then Saturday, of course, the massive event in Athens, Georgia, the home of Governor Brian Kemp, Bulldog Nation coming from across the state to demonstrate that the red and black support recovery. And you're just going to have, it has all been permitted and everything will be done both safe with the city and county, but also safe with COVID. But masks are coming and everything. But it's going to be a tremendous, tremendous event in Athens on Saturday the 13th at 3 o'clock there at Divas Awareness parking lot right before they go into session on Monday. So that's 3 events in person. That'll be 4 in-person events the week before session. There's email things, there's social media things, a real strong message for recovery going into the session.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be great. I'll be in Athens. I'll be in Warner Robins on Thursday. Be in Athens on Saturday. It's going to be a big week, like you said, and we're trying to organize a messaging campaign so folks can write their legislators. And we just want to say thank you to those who understand and have given us a hearing this last week. We've had several legislators who have listened to us, and that's all we're asking for right now is to be listened to in a reconsideration of the budget that was submitted to them. So it is serious business. There's no reason it has to be acrimonious. We just want to make our case. We just want to be part of the solution, like always. I always say we're in recovery and we want to help. We know deep down the benefits of recovery. We know it. We've been through that road. We just want to help others find this because it can be so helpless and feel so hopeless when you're in the midst of addiction. So we want to be those hope dealers. We want to just keep doing the work we're doing because we do it anyway, and we do it in a really, really big way in this town. One of the reasons I moved to Atlanta 21 years ago is I heard it had a great recovery community, and that was important to me to have a lot of people who were in recovery. You can get meetings 24 hours a day in this area, and now you can get all recovery meetings. You can get lots of recovery support here. A lot of people are living in recovery. And as you know, too, there was some data that came out today that showed that there's been about a 30% increase in the number of people who want help with their either depression, anxiety, or a substance use disorder.
That's tremendous. And thanks for sharing that background on one of the reasons why you came to Atlanta. But perhaps the most important event this week in all of recovery is taking place tomorrow down at the state capitol. At 3 o'clock, the Georgia State Senate Appropriations Committee, Human Development and Public Health Subcommittee. That's a long government name for the subcommittee that deals with recovery. That's what I like to call it. They're having a public meeting, like I said, at 3 p.m. to discuss next year's budget. And that will discuss the future of peer funding in the state of Georgia. So because of COVID, there's a lot of restrictions on entrance to the Capitol, but they are going to broadcast that on the Georgia State Senate's website tomorrow at 3. So it looks like this when you go to their website, everybody. But and you see it senate.ga.gov, but we're going to put that on our social media and we're going to send an email out if you're on our email list. Yeah. Look, we encourage everybody to watch that. Pay attention, comment especially on social media as you see it. So that's a big meeting tomorrow, Neil.
Well, then, Jeff, as you know, before that, we have our recovery town hall at noon, and we're going to have some movers and shakers on that as well. So tune into this. It'll be on streaming live on Facebook, and it'll also be on Zoom, and you can get that information on our Facebook page and other social media. So we want people to tune in. We're going to have some members of the Appropriations Committee, I believe. Is that right? The
yes,
HHS?
Yes, ma'am. I think we can go ahead and say, because we're about to put it up on Facebook shortly. We have.
Did I blow it again? Did I give away a secret?
No, this is no. This is why Neil and I love these kind of a free flow. And we just came from the rally, y'all, and we just hopped on. But all the guests so far tomorrow are on the Senate Appropriations Committee. And we have Senator Jeff Mullis, we have Senator John Albers, we have Senator Bruce Thompson, we have Senator Jennifer Jordan, and we have Senator Valencia C. And that's bipartisan right there. These are all very important to us. Thankful to all of them. for making a few minutes of their time available to us tomorrow. And we're looking for one or two more guests. But that's a power pack meeting. Listen, as a constituency, we can't ask for anything better than senators on our committee making time for us on the day of the subcommittee meeting. That's a message in and of itself.
Yeah, and we'll have a white paper that we put together this past week that I think both of us are holding in our hands right now. We'll make that available to people. They can see the data that the recovery organizations have performed this past year. It's remarkable how many peers these organizations are serving. You'll be able to talk about our neonatal intensive care unit that we want to see the funding restored for that. So you'll get some specific information that you can advocate for, some language on the call tomorrow.
And y'all, I know that this meeting's going a little bit longer than normal, but hey, this is an important time. And we want to take advantage of Neil's time. But Neil, let's segue into why that town hall tomorrow with those members and why that subcommittee meeting is so important. And I've got 4 points I'd like to hit with you. And the first one is something that you shared today with the group at the rally as we were heading out. It has just stayed with me all afternoon. And that number is 14,000 a month. And I want you to tell everybody, the viewers, what I'm talking about when you said 14,000 a month.
So out of the 16 recovery community or the addiction recovery support centers, we use that with RCOs interchangeably. Out of those 16 addiction recovery support centers out there that are across the state, they average about 13,800, close to 14,000, and it's been 14,000 some months, peer services per month. And that's with about 4,000 individual peers. So that means, you often hear in our business that, oh, those people don't want help. Those people don't want to come to treatment. Those people. And what we've discovered as the magic of peer support is that people show up for our services. People want to be in relationship with us in terms of how they can get their lives back on track. We have that credibility with them. It's just the high volume of peers that these organizations serve is incredible. One of the things, someone had a sign today that said peer support saves lives, and we hear testimonials about that all the time. So people can walk into these centers. They don't have to have a diagnosis. They can actually get help that day. Most of them are open 6 days a week. Jeff, I know in early recovery for me, when I needed to call someone, my therapist had hours. I couldn't call her at 9 o'clock at night. I can call a peer. I can call the warm line. I can call, someone in my network. And that's what these places are all about. And I remember wanting that, because not everybody gets better in a 12-step program or has a sponsor, but they can have a network of peers in their community that they can call. And when you think of some of these rural areas, I watched your brilliant video from Polk County. I watched that 3 times. Not that I'm obsessed with that, but I love the fact that you had 2 law enforcement officers, an EMT, and then someone from county government saying, we don't have resources. If we didn't have this place, we're going to lock more people up. It's just point blank. I mean, there's no argument about it. So that's the kind of services that these places do. The cost offset is unbelievable. And I think about the peer support. I know I shouldn't go on like this, Jeff, but I think about the peer support wellness and respite centers, many of whom, 4 out of 5 are on the Chalkman block. That's a contract with the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network. Those peers, almost 100% of those peers say by going to the peer support wellness and respite center has avoided a hospitalization. A hospitalization costs hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a day. The peer support wellness and respite center costs dollars a day. So why would you want to not have these services available where people have to go into deeper end beds or deeper end services? So that's the kind of data that we're going to be able to provide for folks. That's the kind of data that I find matters as someone who cares about where my tax dollars goes and as just someone who is trying to run a business. What we do is really cost effective and our return on investment is huge.
That's tremendous.
I'll stop.
No, we'll stop right there. I want to name some counties in Georgia. And I know that folks go back and watch this from state government, and I want them to hear these counties. Polk County, Forsyth County, Hall County, 2 times in Clark County, Bibb County, Gwinnett County, 2 times in Fulton County, Dougherty County, Lawrence County, Wayne County, Bullock County, Coweta County, Houston County, Muskogee County, DeKalb County. That's Georgia. If this program goes away, it's urban, suburban, rural, it's Democrat, Republican, it's white, black, Asian, Hispanic. Listen, this is not a good thing. And these places save lives. And
Jay, Jeff, if I could say, this was strategic. We worked with the state on the layout of these centers. We worked with them closely to develop these since 2012. For the last 8 years, we've been working hand in glove with the Department of Behavioral Health to grow these, organically grow these grassroots organizations. And we have, it's not just like we put, yes, this appropriation has been for 2 years, but they were serving people before that. And we were doing symposiums and having community listening sessions. This has been just a really strategic growth of these programs. And it also has been what I think, again, as a taxpayer, it's a public-private partnership. There isn't 100% funding from the state in any of these. So what that means is that, now this center gets state funding, but they also get funding. I'll take the example of Oasis down in Tifton. Their city has given them a building, so they don't have to pay rent for that building. The city donates that to them. So we have other organizations in Coweta. They have local businesses that donate to Coweta Forest. So these are, to me, it's what good government is all about. It's about a public-private partnership. It's about the state not having to, quote, pay the price for someone's addiction or someone's mental illness necessarily, but what they're doing is they're teaching people and empowering people to live their best lives. And that's what it's all about.
now we've got 2 more to hit on real quick. I want to talk about the NICU program. Neil, tell our viewers more about the NICU program.
Yeah, so the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit program was born out of the work that we were doing at Northeast Georgia Health Systems in Gainesville. And we started doing peer support in November 17th, 2017. We had in the emergency rooms in 3 hospitals in Northeast Georgia. Well, the nurses in the NICU heard about it, and they started calling our coaches, and they said, we want coaches for our neonatal intensive care unit. We need help and support for our moms. So the nurses went to the legislature and got an appropriation. And that July 1, we started doing services. We hired coaches, and we started doing services in the NICU. And these are where most of our coaches have experience in the child welfare system. They've gotten their kids back. Most of them had used while they were pregnant, and they're years and years and years beyond that. So they can meet a mom, a prospective mom where they are. They form that relationship. They help her through getting prenatal care. They help her through whether it's she's taking medication to support her recovery. If she's on opiates, they're educated about that. These moms are educated these coaches are educated in everything from how to cuddle. They all take cuddle training, to intentional peer support, how to walk beside these moms to help them get their lives back. And we've served over 250 families in that time. And that's on the chopping block, 100% to be eliminated. Now, and I know Georgia does not score well in the area of maternal health. And we're like the eighth worst in the nation. Why wouldn't we want to keep a program where moms are getting clean and sober, they're getting their kids back, and they're getting their lives back? It just doesn't make any sense. And the other thing it's doing, Jeff, is it has started to reduce the number of bed days a baby with neonatal abstinence syndrome spends in the NICU. Those NICU days are expensive. They're $3,000 a day. And if you can reduce that by 4 or 5 days, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars for each baby. So it makes no sense to us. It's a new program. It was appropriated in fiscal 2019, and it's on the chopping block, 100% on the chopping block.
That program's in Gainesville there, and I've toured the NICU, and I've met the nurses and the doctors, and I know you have too probably, and it's in Gainesville, and I'm not understanding that, but it's on the chopping block, and we're working with our partners, and we appreciate every effort they're making to find a way to keep that in the state budget. And the last substance I want to hit on today is, our budget, the budget of the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse. It's important, and
Yeah.
we've worked hard. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary celebration of Georgia Council on Substance Abuse, and it's not exactly the way we wanted the 20th year to go. We had some other ideas. There's no chocolate cake yet. I've gotten no cake.
Yeah.
And
when we get back.
Yeah. Well, between COVID and this budget stuff, there's been no celebration, and there should be a celebration. But Neil, get serious for a minute and tell people about the current proposal about our budget.
So, it's hard to talk about because, but we have been very transparent with our staff. We let them know, we're a very lean and mean agency. And as you know, Jeff, in our offices, we have 3 people in an office. That's why we can't go back yet, because we cannot safely socially distance at the council offices. So we're still working from home, but we will lose and again, I think this is right because no one's called me and told me, but what it looks like is that we will lose 40% of our revenue between now and July 1st. That hurts. And the last time this happened, what I usually do is go in my office, shut the door, and start getting scrappy, because we're scrappy, and we will raise money, and we will keep doing these services. We won't be able to do the NICU services for sure, but we will, unless we get restoration, and we're hoping that we do. So it just was a gut punch. I called it yesterday. I was one of the keynote speakers for the state of New York's recovery conference, and so they wanted to talk about how we were growing our recovery communities, because people hear about this. We've talked to different states about it, and they wanted to kind of hear our success story. And then my last slide on the slide deck was a gut punch, that we had all of these, and now it could be gone because of COVID. But we remain hopeful. We're hoping for restoration, not elimination. We want to have those discussions with the folks who manage our contracts to say, where can we want to do our part. I do. And as you know, Jeff, I've told staff from the beginning, hey, we're going to tighten our belts because we've got to do our part. But when the governor says an 11% cut and we're getting a 40% cut, that doesn't seem right. And that, that's what we're fighting against. So that's why we're being loud and we're doing all these events.
And I think that's a fair point there, Neil. I mean, I think that you speak for the whole council and for the whole recovery community, and I will do my best to bring honor by echoing your sentiments. I've been asked by our partners at the Capitol, and our message to them is we are team players. And we have nothing but respect for the work the governor is doing and the legislature is doing and GMHCN is doing, and we've given an award to Governor Kemp and Commissioner Fitzgerald, and we mean that. It's sincere. We know they're recovery champions, and we know their heart is with this community. But we are confused when we look at in the neighborhood of 40% and the governor calling for 14 or 11, and we want to do our part like everybody else, but we've got to move it from 40 to 14 or 11. I mean, we got to keep it real, and so that's our message. Is don't shut the doors. Don't roll back the progress made on these great programs. But I want to say, before I ask you one last point, at the staff level, I know that our partners down there are working hard for us. They're working hard for us at the staff level in agencies. They're working hard for us at the elected official level. And I want to say thank you. I want to acknowledge that. It's hard. There's more long hours for them to come. But we value the partnerships we have with GMHCN and the General Assembly and the governor's office. And we are so thankful that they are looking into this situation. And we are here to be their partners. But we're not going to yield on our principles. And we think 40, not good. 14 and 11, that's being a team player. And we want to be team players.
Sure. Yeah, and I also want to give a word about the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network, because it appears that their cuts are even bigger proportionally than ours, and they're an organization that's been around for 30 plus years. So we have the biggest peer workforce of any state in the country. We are the gold standard of peer support and peer workforce, and to see them getting just totaled like they are is just really painful too. So, and we stand in solidarity with them, because so many of us had, for me personally, going into recovery, I had a mental illness diagnosis before I had a substance use disorder diagnosis. the remarkable thing was I stopped drinking and my mental health got so much better. It's amazing. So, you know, we are all the same. A lot of it depends on what door we walk in. You know, if we walk in a mental health door, walking in a substance use disorder door. But so the prospect of getting better is there. And we love our partners at GMHCN, and we love the work that we do together as peers, and Georgia Parent Support Network as well. I know we're going way long. This was more than 5 minutes. I'm sorry. But,
it was.
Yeah, I'm a little fired up. I've been doing a lot of thinking and reading and trying to, you know, just make sure our voices are heard before the decisions or final decisions are made.
Well, there's Deb on our staff, your staff, my team, would right before we do these virtual all recovery meetings, she likes to go 2 minutes and 2 seconds. So we got 2 things left to point out. If you go to Divas Who Win on Facebook, right at the top, they've got pinned right there at the top the change.org petition. I want to share, and then I'm going to let Neil comment briefly. It has surpassed 20,000 Georgians signing that. That's also a big deal. Neil, quick word on that.
Yeah, you know, Shonda Santana over at Divas Who Win, she's the amazing executive director at the gender specific RCO over there in Athens, and she wanted 1,500 signatures, and then before she knew it, it hit close to 5,000. And then it was like, okay, we'll get 10,000. We hit 10,000. Now it's 20,000. So it's just really remarkable that kind of, you know, that's the living in this technology age. You can these kinds of things, you know, Jeff, you and I being able to talk about this during a pandemic is pretty incredible. So, you know, I'm grateful for that too. So yeah, go to Divas Who Win and sign that petition, and let's get it up to 30,000. Why not?
Right. It's not just sign it, it's share it. You got to share this thing.
Yeah.
And the last
that's
point,
how that works.
Yeah. The last point for the show today, we would be remiss if we didn't point out it's election day in Georgia. I've been so moved by the number of posts I've seen on Facebook today with our buttons that Neil produced at ARAD in January that say we recover and we vote. And people are taking that button that they got in ARAD, putting the peach sticker that they got today. I mean, there's dozens of these posts. And, you know, I know I'm going to turn it over to you for this, but it's so important that the recovery community vote, no matter who you vote for. Yeah. How to vote. Yeah.
As we always say, we want to be a constituency of consequence. And, you know, many of us have criminal history pasts and we have criminal offenses in our past or in our history, and that stopped us or kept us from voting. My favorite thing in the world is when someone sends me a picture of them voting for the first time after they've had their rights restored, you know, after they've served their sentences. So that's really important to us. I had one of my team mentioned to me today when we were in the parking lot down at near the Capitol, and he said, you know, I never took it seriously. And I said, well, did you have a criminal history? He's like, no, I just was cynical, man. I was bitter. I was cynical. I didn't think that voting mattered. He said, I just see it so differently now, you know, with all that's going on. And he said, it really is a basic right that we have, and I need to exercise it. And so that made me really, really happy. So to see people who are in recovery get their voting rights back is just it's really sweet. And so we're seeing a lot of that today, and that's been great. Did you vote?
Me, yes, for the first time ever, we voted on that thing we could get from the Secretary of State to vote because of COVID. We voted as a family, and like you shared with me once, I think it gave us time to kind of delve a little bit deeper into some of the lesser known candidates and races, and we enjoyed it. I still didn't vote voting in person, but we did this year because of COVID, vote paper mail this year.
Yeah, we did the same thing. We voted by mail, and I loved it because I sat with my tablet, looked up the candidates, looked up the issues, was able to, I think, really have an informed opinion this time. So that I don't always have time for that. So that was great. So please vote.
Right.
Yeah, go out there and vote, people.
You got to go in person, but go get in line. Anybody in line in the state of Georgia before 7 p.m. will be allowed to vote. So get up, get off the sofa, quit watching us on Facebook, and go vote if you haven't voted. This is the Neil Campbell report. We'll be back.
Well, Jeff, let me challenge you to one thing. Can you talk about the I Am Recovery videos? Because I'm getting those in my, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'm getting these, I'm crying all day. My eyes are bloodshot because I'm watching these I Am Recovery videos, and they're fantastic.
Yeah. No, they're fantastic. So listen, well, you can tell we didn't rehearse this one.
Sorry.
No, it's great. So listen, back in at ARAD, I got to give credit to
January.
In January at ARAD, Ingrid and myself and some of the team, we got together. We asked peers, we didn't want them to have any rehearsal time. They came up and spoke about what's on their heart. Now, since then, Sierra on our team has taken Ingrid's great project, made it even stronger and better, and we've done a little in-house perfection to an already perfect project. And thank you, Sierra and Ingrid, for your creativity and all the work that William and Brian on the comms team do too. So we've got these little 1-minute hits, and they're on our YouTube channel now, so go there. But we're going to be posting them tonight and tomorrow before 3. No, it's good. You're just space them out a little bit, and we're going to keep going. We're going to get some new ones, we think. So, you'll be getting an email saying, hey, if you want to tape a 1-minute message as to why recovery matters, why recovery is real, why you believe you're a recovery, we're going to ask you to email it to us. And that email is coming out probably after this Wednesday. But the first batch that we used from ARAD are just wonderful. And that's what Neil's referencing. And we want to get to these before the final vote on the budget is possible. Diverse as we can be from around the state. So, yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and we're so excited about them. And again, thank you, Ingrid at Q Optics and Sierra on our comms team for their hard work on that project. The Neil Campbell report will be on Thursday. Tomorrow at 12 noon, we'll have the Recovery Town Hall with a very special guest from the State Senate. This is one not to miss. And we want to encourage you to come to any of those 3 events this week. It's a week to speak up, speak out. Nothing about us without us. Neil, thank you so much for your time.
Well, Thursday, I'm going to be on my way to Warner Robins. So am I going to do a Neil Campbell reports as well? I'm willing to. I don't want to lie to people. I can help it.
Really? Throw me right on the bus. We're going to figure that out. We had thought about that, and we'll figure out a time for it. Maybe it's Friday. We don't know, y'all. But
okay,
scheduled for Thursday. We both have to bolt and go to Warner Robins.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things on Thursday. So yeah, we'll figure it all out. But yeah, we're going to bring you another one because it's just that important before Monday. So at some point we'll have one before they convene on Monday.
We'll have our initial response. We'll have our initial response to the commissioner's testimony. So that'll be interesting.
Right. That's probably what we'll talk about the most. We want to thank the commissioner for her hard work. Please, everybody, keep the commissioner and her senior staff in your thoughts and prayers. They are working long hours, and the General Assembly staff, there's staff down there, they're working long hours. Listen, I used to work on that staff. I know people in recovery on those staffs. These people are putting in hours and don't get any credit or any glory. And some of them are our friends and allies. So lots of thoughts and prayers to the staff, to the departments, to the elected officials, to just the whole community down there at the Capitol, because a lot of them are our friends and allies.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks to all of them. And thanks to you, Jeff, for bringing this and for making me do this, for forcing me to do this every week. And it's, it helps me to talk about it. So I'm really glad we have this opportunity. And thanks for today. The rally for recovery was outstanding. It was really fun.
We thank all the peers and you for your leadership. One day when we get an Emmy for this from somebody, you put it right there behind you where you're sitting right there. And we thank you.
I'll probably be I'll be the Susan Lucci of the daytime Emmys. Always nominated, never. Sorry.
Never win.
All right.
Thank you, Neil Campbell, for your leadership. Thanks so much.
All right. God bless. Bye-bye.